Clearly, Tinubu screams that the many reasons why they have not been able to achieve their agenda towards restructuring is because his vice president is very much against restructuring. Watch this video in case you haven't seen it. We'll continue our analysis.
Definitely, the topical issue in Nigeria is restructuring. Restructuring my foot. To hell with restructuring. Let's improve on the quality of governance. Let's work for the people. Let's invest in education. Let's create jobs. All this madness will evaporate.
Welcome back. OTD Woro Si Woro. Do you know what that means? What that simply means is that the kokoro, the insect that is eating Tinubu's flower, is in the government with him. A little wonder, I have always said it. Why is it that whenever we want to have conversations, progressive ones for that matter, that we sort of leapfrog the nation into respecting our identity, respecting, our regional sovereignty? You will see Ali Ndume, you will see Professor Zolu, you will see Professor Yusuf. They will all come out with all manners of cock and bull stories. They will tell us we are not matured. They will tell us we are not supposed to have this policy yet above this. In that video, I'm sure you watch and listen to Shettima. He said, restructuring my foot. In fact, he said that Nigeria does not need to be restructured. That what Nigeria needs is good governance. I beg you, Shettima, give me a break. If we look at the genesis, the cradle where the banditry, insurgency, espoused from, it is Borno. In that same Borno, who was the young man in power at that time, it was the young Kashim Shettima. In a nutshell, I am not saying maybe Shettima was the one behind it. But as at that time, it was the insecurity that happened in Borno, the 200 Chibok girls that escalated the sort of campaigns and propaganda that was used against Jonathan, who, by the way, was giving us good governance. Then Shettima did not come out and say, listen, yes, we have insecurity, but don't let us keep propagating, Jonathan must go. He joined the train. And we know what they did. They bulldozed Jonathan away from the seat. The last time we will ever talk of good governance, competence, character, commitment, whatever, is that day Jonathan called Buhari and he said, congratulations, your agenda and propaganda don't commot me for power. Well, for Tinubu, I don't know why he is shouting now. His aides are the ones actually shouting, by the way. The likes of Onanuga, the likes of Buala, the likes of Taiwo Yedele, who is the tax master. He came out the last time, he said he never knew Nigeria is this complex. That was the man working for Price Water Corporation, PwC. He said his eyes saw many things, that this tax thing, ordinarily, he has implemented it in so many other countries. In fact, when he was discussing the tax in the southern part, he didn't have much issues. When he was discussing the tax in the middle belt, he didn't have much issues. When he got to the north, when he had discussed the tax, they didn't talk. That it was when they were about to pass the bill, they started shouting, no! You see, guys, it is apparent that this contraption Lord Lugard bequeathed on us, who are the sons and daughters of Frederick Lord Lugard, we will continue to have that eternal conflict. Now my tribe better pass you. No, North is better than South. No, Igbos are better than Yoruba. No, Fulanis are terrible people. Until that very day we agree that enough is enough. Until that very day, the South will muster the energy to first and foremost push aside their sentiments. And when they do, what will happen? They will tell you that not we have had enough. We in the South are the one actually stopping, okay, and blocking our own salvation. That's it. We in the South are the one only stopping and of course blocking our salvation away from this country. In the 60s, when the Biafrans wanted to go, a southerner gave Gowon an initiative. Don't give food. What happened? Food starvation came, the Biafran armies were weak, and then the Nigerian army was able to balkanize, overrun, and of course, at the end of the day, defeat them. Boom. In 2014, this same man today, Tinubu, was somehow, he was promised, he was manipulated, and of course, because it aligned with his own personal interest, okay, which is to become the president, he aligned with Buhari. Buhari for 8 good years stopped the restructuring conversation Jonathan was already, had on the motion. Everything we are discussing today, whether restructuring, whether state police, whether courts, whether regionalization, everything we are talking about, Jonathan has done it even more. Tinubu today is now discussing about restructuring. Let us forget how Tinubu, that is by the way. He has done it. We have swore for him. We have cursed him. But now we are in the future. Now, Tinubu is now what? Chewing the rhetorics of state police. He is now chewing or turning out the rhetorics, the stories of tax, let me call it tax federalism, like Nigerian true federalism, whereby you what you earn, you take home. Is who was those that was against him? Of course, the closest allies of the deputy. Ali Ndume cannot be saying, well, Shettima is not someone that can talk to him. Neither is Professor Zulu. Neither Professor Yusuf. Right? But yes, Ali Ndume would, Shettima will just, his quietness is so loud. He will just stay aloof. He stay aloof. And meanwhile, from the back, foiling, you guys keep apply pressure. That is what is happening. So will Tinubu be able to achieve the restructuring? For me, in his first tenure, I don't think he will. If the North do not support Obi, and somehow Tinubu becomes the president between 2027 again, then maybe by that time he might begin to think of it. But now I know he'll be extremely careful because he doesn't want to offend Shettima. There are so many politicians. The last time one politician came out, a Kano State politician, he said he would deduct 1 million votes from Tinubu. Well, that's possible. Now they put on there. Waiting me my own. What's my own? I already know who I want to vote for. And if that vote will change, it's simply because maybe the North think they want to outsmart all of us in the South. That is what will change my vote on the other way. But as it stands, whom we want to vote is Peter Obi. Alright? That's it. That's the way to go. And the issue of restructuring and the way the Nigerian, system has been made, because what I'm seeing currently, Obi and El-Rufai working together closely. Yesterday they were together somewhere. Today they were at Imo, having some chit chat with people. El-Rufai had to, like, he had conversations, he delivered a keynote speech. My question is, by the time Peter Obi becomes the president and he wants to start tinkering with restructuring, we know that El-Rufai will go against that. It's apparent because his son Bello El-Rufai, who came out to speak vehemently against regional presidency, he speak against rotational presidency. We all know for Bello El-Rufai, which is the son of Nasir El-Rufai, to say such, it is definitely he is speaking on behalf of his father in some way. That's it. So you see, the way I have always said it, that Lord God did a mess on us, and my reason why I will always swear for him, I'm beside the church. I say that may his soul never rest in peace. That man no go die well. If he die well, he no go sleep well. A president from the south will definitely always have someone as a northerner who will always be a member of the oligarchs. Namani Sambo was, Atiku was, Jonathan. We know what happened. We know what they did to Oshibanjo, unlike, because it's not a northerner. We know how they taught. Tell me one northern, no one, no northern deputy that has been turned to a lame dog, and that is how they have made it. Because when you want to do some level of, changing the status quo, this guy who is apparently the eyes, the ears, the mouth of the northern oligarchs, whom you would have made your VP, because they will give you the guy, oh yeah, make this guy a VP. He will start selling those informations out, or passing it out rather. And from there, they can move against your government. Just wait a minute. Imagine Jonathan didn't have Namadi Sambo as his deputy. Imagine that it was one Yoruba guy, or maybe one Middle Belton guy that was his, deputy as at the time, or maybe an Igbo guy. Let's just say, for instance, you know that Jonathan will have been extremely successful, most especially with the recommendations that they came out after the Confab Summit. With the Restructure report, with the Confab Summit, he would have been able to easily implement. It's just clear like as night and day. There are so many things Tinubu would have wished he could do today, but he wouldn't. Why? Shettima will not be able to stop him directly, but Shettima will get the info and he will push it down to the people who will react. And then they will go into the street and start rallying up the people. So that is what we have found ourselves in a cycle of never do well of a contraption. Obi wants to go, fine, I want him to be there. But now we can see this gallivanting, this they don't they work now with El-Rufai, because people have been saying this thing. El-Rufai Obi, El-Rufai Obi. Are these people whining us? El-Rufai Obi. Atiku cannot deputize. We know El-Rufai. Okay. If Obi wants to do, listen, it is not, listen, you cannot be delusional and be myopic that Obi will get there with El-Rufai as deputy, and Obi will say, okay, you know what? Let's do this. And they know it will affect the Fulani. El-Rufai will not tell the right people that you're supposed to tell. You have to be joking. On the short term, it will affect them, but on the long, okay, look at this issue of open grazing. Look at this issue of let us ban Sharia. Let us take away Sharia from the constitution. You think El-Rufai will allow such? No, now, Appa, you tell me. El-Rufai will not be seen openly going against his boss, but he will probably be the one foiling it, just the way we think Shettima is the one doing it. Yes. Because sometimes we think that how come Ali Ndume, this guy knows much? How come Professor Zulum? How come they know much? How come Professor Yusuf? How come they know? And these are all friends of Shettima, allies. And these people are not just ordinary friends. These are people who are what? loud-mouthed and outspoken, and they have a following. They have a following. So you see, it's so sad. The outcry that Tinubu is crying is not enough. I'm not taking him serious, because if he's serious about the restructuring, there's actually nothing stopping him from changing his vice president, bringing someone who is more liberal, maybe from the middle belt, and then you push. And then you push. If you have the president pushing for this, and the vice goes to the north and start telling them the language they understand. Yes, so now for our own benefit, oh, and this and that, oh, let us accept it. Oh, this man is not doing us any evil. But is that what we have? No, that's not what we have. And this is why I had to say that Tinubu, you go cry tire, no explanation. Because when you wanted to go for the Muslim ticket, you were short-sighted. Now, all those restructuring agenda, where they your mind, where they by the back of your mind, it is between you and the corner. Let's listen to maybe a broader video of Shettima discussion on this issue of restructuring.
Of injustice, that is without a doubt. And while democracy is fair, it's simply the best option we have, but not the fairest. So there are certain regions that by population are at an advantage. So while not asking we discard this, I think it needs to take a lot of introspection. Maya Born over there made a point. If you take this to the North Central, sir, who will it be for? Is it the Ndume people, the brilliant Ibibio people, the Igala people? In my little experience in Nigeria, whenever you do this, every tribe in every state will also come out and say it's their time. Merit prevails, sir. I think part of the reason why this sense of injustice continues to go on is because of the failure of governance, the failure of social equity. So, Mr. Speaker, I implore that we do not set a dangerous precedent and put it in the Constitution without due diligence, which I'm sure the Constitutional Review Committee will do so. But while it tackles injustice, I must agree with the previous speaker. This could really set us back. And finally, unfortunately, we are but human beings. What happens in the event of death? May God bless the soul of President Umar Musa Yar'Adua, but I guess he passed away at a time when it was, quote unquote, the time of the North. And the vice president comes in. Is it actually fair to ask a vice president to step down in the event of the unfortunate occurring? I think we should still adhere to good governance and provide our people.
Honorable
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Oshoba.